Good Saturday morning. This is now the calling by Matthew to the ministry. And obviously I share in the ministry that is being proclaimed here, okay? I'm part of the one who goes out in the harvest, okay? Because I'm called to it, not that I deserve it. And I'm not making anything, I'm just telling you, okay? But I take this stuff seriously. So obviously I gave my life to it, see? Because I got called to do it, not because I wanted to. See, that's the thing. Well, let me read it to you. Jesus went about the towns and villages, teaching in their synagogues, proclaiming the gospel of the kingdom and curing every disease and illness. At the sight of the crowds, his heart was moved with pity for them because they were troubled and abandoned like sheep without a shepherd. Boy, if that isn't the story of the world today. The role of the church is to be the new shepherd of the world. That's St. John, the 23rd line. The church is to be the shepherd, the new shepherd of the world. He's right. And he said to his disciples, the harvest is abundant, but the laborers are few. So ask the master of the harvest to send out laborers for his harvest. That's all of us, all the baptized. But I think in a special way, the clergy. We're called to be servants, to be laborers, and laborers, not privileged, laborers for the harvest. And he summoned the 12 disciples and gave them authority. Here's your episcopacy, okay? Over unclean spirits to drive them out and cure every disease and every illness. See, the 12 disciples and the descendants of the 12 disciples is the hierarchy of the church, to drive out all that is evil in the leadership of the church, to be the leaders of the church. Jesus sent out these 12 after instructing them thus, go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. As you go, make this proclamation, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. That's the role of the church. I think you see that in Pope Francis, proclaiming the gospel to the world for the hope of healing it. Because as a good shepherd, these sheep are vulnerable. They are scattered in a dangerous way. They're vulnerable in the scattered state to be prey to the wolves of horror. Cure the sick, raise the dead, raise hope. See? Cleanse lepers, drive out demons, especially the demons of ideology, I think. You know, without cost you've received, without cost you are to give. You're not there to make a buck. You're not there to get wealthy. You're called to serve without asking anything in return. That's the bottom line in the truth. And I do see that as the role of the church in the world today, in the postmodern world, in our world, the 20th century, 21st century. Especially 21st century, we have to heal the wounds because the sheep are scattered. I mentioned the other day about the role of the United Nations, and I see that, but it is barely adequate at all, almost non-existent. But it's still a place where we can talk to each other, but there has to be more. I don't know how else to put it, but I think, being honest with you, I believe Christianity, especially, I gotta say, especially Catholicism, because of its hierarchical structure, the sacraments, and the authoritative teaching and preaching of the gospel, is the hope of the world. I mean that sincerely. I'm not pious, and I'm not trying to say it's good for us. What I'm saying is because it's an authoritative preaching of the gospel, a gospel that unites through healing the human separateness, the human heart, the broken human heart. But it means that the church must do so with all the authenticity of the gospel itself. She has to be in the service. She has to serve the flock, not her own interests. And I think some of the scandal of the church is the church didn't serve the flock, it served itself. I'm talking the hierarchy. I mean that. History is not kind to the church, for good reason. The betrayal by the hierarchy of the church is, hell, I don't know how you deny it. It's rampantly obvious. I think we've been blessed in the last roughly 150 years. We've had magnificent papacies, great popes, and by and large, great episcopacies of bishops. We haven't had the corruption that went before. We have been blessed since Pius IX, since the 1870s. The First Vatican Council, then the Second Vatican Council. We have had we've had basically very holy men leading the church. I think I'm so grateful to be part of the church. and under her leadership of the last 150 years. I really mean that. We've had marvelous popes. I mean it, great leaders. Some of them are heroic portions. I think of popes during the wars. Yeah. I mean that Pius XII, sometimes he gets a bum rap, but I think overall, he did what he had to do. He led the church through the horrors of the Second World War. We've not been rife with scandal. We've had personal scandal in the clergy, the sex problems, yes, not taken away from that. And there were mistakes made on part of the episcopacy and how they handled it. But we have not suffered from massive corruption in the church as had existed in the past. We've been blessed. I think we have been blessed by good shepherds. Flawed, but good. Wise, but at times foolish. I think we've been blessed. I mean that sincerely. And I think, yes, I have to say that. And so I believe that the church has served the world well, and she's in a position to serve it even better now in a very important way. She offers a wisdom that you can unite and has the power to unite the human family. I mean that. I'm looking for a wisdom that unites us, and I don't see it in the philosophy of the world, let alone the political ideologies. Not at all. Dangerously not at all. But I hope, I can still hope, it's very difficult to do it, but I see it in Francis, his apostolic mission to the world. He has drawn the attention of the world, not just to his person, but the message. And the message is the message of hope through love, faith and love, to love one another. Pope Francis is the epitome, he epitomizes that gospel in his own great love for humanity. And I hope that that becomes the light that will gradually begin to lead to a peaceful tomorrow. Do I think it's going to happen with great effort? Maybe. I hope. I trust in the power of the gospel and the beauty the beauty of the gospel preached by a flawed but beautiful church. I hope her beauty will draw people to it. The beauty of the gospel enfleshed in the church.